Hello, 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 my followers of darkness. Welcome to another episode. Fantastic, badass, kick ass, funny, exhilarating, but sometimes nuts episode of the Shadow Council. Welcome and join us in this big, fantastic adventure in the kingdom far, far away. Now, I'm your host, as always, Lord of Shadows, but please meet my acquaintances.
Hi, everybody. Peyton here.
Hi everybody, Kieran here from Film Review Central. Good to see you all.
And here we're going to have today a very special topic this time. We're going to talk about a certain franchise that I think like almost everyone all over the world loves it. I personally believe it's one of the greatest creations that DreamWorks has ever done. And that is none other than the Shrek franchise, which I personally think is one of the greatest magnus opus of DreamWorks. Awkward silence.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the. There we go. There we go. I think it's top tier sort of animated style to make sort of four movies spanning across sort of 10 years. I think it definitely shows the incredible popularity of it. I think I have to respectfully disagree with Lord of Shadows. I would say it's probably not my favorite DreamWorks animated movie, but I would say that Shrek. I'm sorry. Are you kicking me out already? Are you kicking me out already? No, I like Kung Fu Panda and How to Train Your Dragon. I would say that one is a little bit higher, but I think what Shrek's importance of in the importance of that whole franchise, it's almost like the Toy Story version of DreamWorks. It put it on the map. Yes, they did loads of animated movies within the 90s. Shrek was bringing us in to a new age of animation stars competing with. But they competed with a talking donkey who would not shut up and a green ogre. So DreamWorks have definitely done very well for themselves, and I definitely enjoy it. I can't wait to talk to it with you guys.
Peyton, before you
Um,
start, please bring me a steak and stab it right through my heart.
I will say that Over the Hedge is one of the best movies of all time. It beats everything. JK, I hardly remember it.
No,
I did
okay.
like Over the Hedge,
No,
but
okay. I will say this: Over the Hedge, personally, is one of the most underrated DreamWorks projects
yeah,
ever done.
yeah,
It is so good, and I think the way how not Mel Gibson, sorry, Bruce Willis, the way how he voiced that raccoon, it was so great. It really fit the character. It really fit like the actor and the character. They really fit.
yeah. If I'm being completely honest, I like pretty much all the DreamWorks stuff equally. Like DreamWorks
Same.
isn't like exactly like my go-to. Well, not I'm trying to describe it. It's not like my favorite like animated franchise, but it is, obviously it's been a part of like a lot of people's childhood, including mine, and Shrek is no exception. Shrek has been there. I could probably quote a good bit of the dialogue from the first and a bit of the second as well. And it's definitely of its time, but at the same time, it's it's a classic. It's like its animation still holds up to this day. Um, the the voice cast, the dialogue is very risque for an animated movie of the time. Like it's not just, oh yeah, it's just like kids animation. It's like, oh no, animation can be, for everybody really. And that's what we've been seeing within these last few years. um but really, the cast, the detail on the animation, just everything about this franchise, and for me especially the first. Oh, and also don't forget All Star. Don't forget All Star. But yeah, it Shrek is definitely a franchise that like will always be a part of
I mean,
my heart. and stuff like that. And I can't wait to talk more about it.
I mean, I just want to say this, like, not just simply All Star, but like, I'm a believer. Like, those songs existed like before Shrek 1 came out, and yet it took this movie to make them iconic. And like, I mean, it's so ironic that sometimes you need like TV shows or cartoons or movies to make like old songs that most of the people never heard before to make them iconic. Like, it's just it's weird, but at the same time, well deserved. In the same time, and
I just wanted to say I definitely agree with you there. Like in the early 2000s, there were definitely like movies that like kind of brought these songs to the limelight. I've had a few childhood movies, and Shrek was one of them that like took like like classic songs, needle dropped them into it, and just like made a part of my everyday playlist. Essentially, like Bad Reputation. Shrek 2 had changes. It was more of a cover than anything, but it still was great, and yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, I agree. But like, just to basically, since the cat is out of the bag, like just like you, Peyton, I love equally like all the DreamWorks movies, with the exception, which some people actually thought it was odd for me, but there with the one exception, because there's only one DreamWorks movie that I don't actually like. I mean, I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I'm like in the middle, you know.
Can I guess? Can we try and guess?
Okay, go ahead.
Can we try? Megamind.
No.
Okay.
Flushed away.
Any ideas, Peyton?
Are you kidding? No. Okay.
I'm trying to wrap my brain now of all of the
Prince of
Croods.
Egypt.
No.
Trolls.
No.
Really?
Oh, he's a fan of Trolls. Lord of Shadows is a fan of Trolls. I can tell.
Guilty charge.
Are you quote unquote trolling us?
Very good. Very good. Very good.
No.
All right, just tell us.
Yeah, come on.
Okay, you had two guesses. Let's leave it to FRC to give the other two guesses.
Oh, this is pressure now. That's what I mean. Yeah, I'm trying to think off the top of my head what I can. It's not Kung Fu Panda, is it? It's not any of the Kung Fu Pandas.
Come on, you're kidding me.
It's
one of my favorite DreamWorks trilogies. Come on.
This is just going to be DreamWorks conversation rather than Shrek. You might have to change the title of this at the end.
Well, it's not How You Train Your Dragon. I know you can talk. You can talk everybody's ear off about how to train your dragon.
Hell
Spirited.
Yeah.
Spirited.
No.
The Road to El Dorado?
Okay. Oh no, it's one of my most favorites.
Go on then, God, you got to tell us now.
Okay.
This could be a whole live stream of this.
I'm really curious to see before we start to Shrek, you know, but like I'm really curious to see what's your opinions. B movie.
Okay. Yeah, I get that.
That's the only one. I don't know. There's something about that movie that doesn't like excites me whatsoever. You know, like I mean, I get the idea, I get the imagination, so to speak, but I'm like, it doesn't connect with me at all.
Well, I'm pleased that doesn't connect with you, especially that a woman fancies a bee. Like usually bees are just like swatted away by women, but I really fancied him. But it's one of them where I think, like Peyton said brilliantly, trying to steer the conversation back onto Shrek, is that like Peyton was like, you know, I'd go and sit and watch them now. I'm not sure whether now you'd watch the scenes of like a woman like hanging around with a bee on a date, and whether you think that's just a bit strange now. Like that's a good one actually. I didn't guess that many because I forgot it. But
no problem.
Just a quick thing about Just a quick thing about the songs though, what Peyton said. It's like it's so easy that when a big franchise movie comes out and you're like, okay, somebody's going to do an original song. But it's one of them that I think 2000s animations really did captivate and look at that, you know, long list of songs. And as we're all big movie fans, hence why we're on this channel, you attach songs to movies. And I think that's what's really, really cool is that Shrek has given us so many times. And it is one of them things where Loka, now you're just pretty like Donkey and Puss in Boots just singing it. Like I feel really bad for the singer
Oh
now.
my god! Like, I mean, look. I mean, first and foremost, like, if I have to, like, I mean, I just want to say it right off the bat, like, of all the like Shrek movies, I'm not connecting Puss in Boots. I'm just saying Shrek movies. Of all the Shrek movies, like, my favorite one will always be Shrek 2. My favorite one, because and that's one of the reasons why I love Shrek. Why I love it, because the overall creativity, the overall imagination, like the way how they used all these myths, fairy tales, nursery rhymes, and like Easter eggs, and like present like elements, like from like memes to gags to connections to other fictional stories to movies, like, oh my god, like everything, like from Shrek 1 all the way to Shrek Forever After. Like every single joke, every single meme, every single connection. Just loved it. I loved it. Like, I mean, I loved all the characters. I loved the jokes. The villains are great. The villains are great. I really have to admit. I mean, I wouldn't go as far as say that I even like Prince Charming in the third movie as a villain. I thought, like, like, even though I know for a lot of people he's mostly just a joke, but like, I liked him. Like, he had some charisma, a little bit of ego in it. Like, like he tried to prove himself, and I always gave a villain like that a shot, and he succeeded for a period of time. But he's, and he was great. Also, the voice actor, I mean, I can't remember the British actor's name, but who voiced him, by the way, a really underrated actor, but everything about it, it was great. Not to mention, come on, like the way how Shrek was like roasting him in the theater. I mean, they were like, come on, like that was hilarious. When it couldn't be worse than the lousy performance you're giving. Like, by the way, I love that. I love that dress. Oh, thank you. Does it come in men's size? I love that. I love it. Oh, please, could you kill me now in dancing? Oh my god. Yeah, but anyway.
Is that Rupert Everett?
Yes.
Rupert Everett, who voices Prince Charming. Yeah, just had a
underrated.
Quick look there. I agree with
actor.
you. This fantastic British actor as well. He's done a lot of theatre stuff that I've seen throughout my time of sort of learning drama and stuff like that. But for me, Shrek's probably my favourite as well. The only Shrek movie to win the Best Animated Oscar. Obviously, we could see Puss in Boots: The Last Wish get it this year. I'm sort of leaning towards Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio for the win, but I'd be happy to see Puss in Boots win. I'm sure we'll speak about that film a little bit later on in the show. But yeah, Shrek 2 was probably the best. I actually really like Shrek. I think that is really fantastic. It's very simple story. A lot of kids grow up with fairy tales and stuff like that. I think Shrek 2.
Can I just say one thing?
Go on.
I mean, who can forget the iconic scene with Donkey flirting with the dragon? I mean, come on.
Like, yeah, but I think it leans in. It leans into them sort of fairy tale sort of styles of fairy tale storylines. Which Shrek 2 probably had a little bit more weight on it because it sort of went down that line of building it up. It's a sequel, but I thought the first one was just a really big breath of fresh air. It was easy. You know who's good, you know who's bad. It's the bad guy trying to be good. We see that a lot now. in sort of movies, it's like the bad guy, but you're bad, but actually I'm a good guy. And stuff like that. Things like that. I think it really good. I would probably say I'm intrigued to ask both of you. What would be your ranking? Because I'd go 4, 3, 1, 2. That'd be my ranking of the Shrek movies. I'm intrigued to see what you guys have to say for that one.
Okay, I'll be last, so you go, Peyton.
I'd say, and it's been a while since I've seen most of the movies. I literally just watched the first one right before starting this live stream. But I'd say 4, 3, 2, 1.
I will go Shrek the Third. I'm going from like last to first.
Yeah.
So I'm going for fourth place. I will go with Shrek the Third. Then third place, I will go Shrek Forever After. Then I'll go with Shrek, and first place Shrek 2. That's basically my
Yeah.
ranking. Even though personally, first and foremost, like I will say this: Shrek the Third is by far the weakest of the Shrek movies. Okay, I will admit it, but I still think it doesn't deserve that much negativity because there's so much stuff you can still enjoy, so many great jokes, a really interesting story, even mostly it's just a revenge family having a baby thing story going on, Also, I mean, come on. I mean, like one of my favorite scenes in the third one is the medieval what was it? College or high school?
High school.
High school, yeah.
High school.
Yeah,
Okay, the medieval high school, like the the girls talking like I'd rather like die with by the black plague than go out with you, or like the drugs with the what's the name? What's the word? Oh my! Remember like
Potions?
No. What's the thing?
Lord of
called?
Lord of Shadows really put his dramatic element into that. That's brilliant.
Yeah, I know, but like the way how they use like the usual girl, like high school girls thing, then the drugs, like especially when it comes to weed,
The stoners.
the stoners, exactly, the stoners,
The stoners in
the
Shrek.
buses. Oh my god, like that part is one of my favorite ones, And I will say
so
this:
good.
the nightmare with the babies, that was a little bit creepy for me. That was a little bit creepy.
That's what people. But you did say that like Shrek does like overstepped in certain potential, as it does really take risk of animation. It's that little bit where you just think like, is this right? Like Peter said about rewatching the first one. When you rewatch them as being older, you do pick up on them things and go, really? How did I not get like creeped out like this as a kid? No, I like the third one. I think the third one was actually the first one I watched. I think I watched that in the cinema. For the first time. I mean, I went to go see Shrek the musical, like when I was younger. Like my mum and dad took me to go see Shrek the musical, so it's like little bits like that where I just thought I watched the Shrek the third, then I watched Shrek the musical, so I was all in with that. The only reason why I put the fourth one is that it's just sort of forgotten. Like a lot of people like really go. There's a fourth Shrek one. I just don't know whether it had that impact where like a lot of people just go as a fourth film. I know it's hard, but
for me, I mean, first and foremost, like one of the things I loved about Shrek Forever After, because I always thought personally, the Shrek Forever After, for me at least, for me it looked like a very satisfying ending to like the Shrek franchise, because the way how it ended, and like I adored that line, where Shrek said, the time when I rescued you from the dragon, like, yeah, of course I remember. And Shrek is like to Fiona, no, you rescued me. And I'm like, oh my god, that is so sweet. Oh my god. And I love the way how it ended. And also, I mean, come on, Rumpelstiltskin was a great villain. I love the way how I mean, the wig thing was so funny. Like every time he changes wig, like from angry wig to business wig to normal wig, like I love that, and I like the idea of like him kind of like going back in time, alternate universe kind of thing, where basically he had to fell in love with Fiona again. I like that. That.
It did the multiverses before even the MCU.
Exactly. Fairy tale multiverse.
It's more of an alternate timeline than a multiverse.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
I agree. It's more like an alternate reality than a universe. But
that's for a completely different live stream, by the way.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know.
I'd like to see like Shrek dressed up as like Doctor Strange, and then like Donkey's Wong as he just like coming out of the thing.
We need to have a whole live stream just by talking about like alternate universes, alternate timelines in like animated movies.
Yeah, I know. Oh my god!
I thought you meant alternate timelines for ourselves, and I'd be like, "Where would you be in an alternate timeline?" Like, I'd just be like really rich and successful.
That's true. That is true. Also, I
Yes,
just want to say,
hopefully.
I want to see your opinion, guys. In the first movie, Lord Farquaad, the introduction to his character, personally, I think is one of the most greatest, funny villain introductions ever. I like the way, like you think, like the way the music going, and like the torturer getting ready to torture, or the person when I was little, I felt like he was preparing breakfast for Lord Farquaad. Honestly, with the milk thing. Also, like the way how he was walking. Then you see the boots, you see the gloves, you see the face, and like the music going on, and then like the guards, "Huh!" And then basically you see him going like smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, and I'm like, I was laughing every time when I see that scene. I'm laughing. It's crazy. As like
It's so good.
it's so amazing. So I really wanna see your opinions about his introduction.
Go on,
Go
Peter.
ahead.
Well, for starters, you can't talk about Lord Farquaad without talking about the brilliant performance of John
yeah.
Lithgow. John
Yeah.
Lithgow is an American thespian. Like,
Mhm.
I am surprised he's not from the UK because like he's so prolific.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I will say,
Thank you.
I
We
don't,
are we are like that over here. We are
I
like
don't know
that
if
over here.
I don't know
Yeah,
if
I know. You guys have Sir Patrick Stewart, Sir Ian McKellen.
Yes,
Like,
we've got
I'm
some stars.
jealous.
We've got some. Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, we love it. We love.
I mean, he sometimes when I'm watching scenes, like, is he voicing normally, or is he actually trying to do like a British accent? Because sometimes
I
it
think he tried to do a bit of a
throws
British
off.
accent. Yeah.
It's
Like,
more of a New England accent.
but anyway, like no matter what he does, I agree. John, like he did one hell of a performance as Lord Farquaad. Like I like of all the voice actors, especially the villains, he's the one that like people should applaud more because he was brilliant, brilliant.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
But anyway, FRC, your opinion about his introduction?
Yes. Yeah, I think it was a good villain. I think it's a good villain. Obviously, I think it was. It wasn't shoved in your face. I like the comedy elements and stuff like that. I think it's just his overall look and style. Shrek, obviously, they're both fighting for Fiona's love and stuff like that. I just think them two of like the big guy and the little guy. Again, that sort of made me sort of, really sort of smile and sort of laugh and stuff like that. And I think the interactions with the mirror, I just thought
Oh
was
my
really,
god!
really funny. Was
Oh
funny.
my
That
god!
that was like the highlight of it. That was for me.
The way like dating shows usually are. I love the way how they did with the magic mirror. I love the way how he's like, so what's gonna be bachelor number one, bachelor number two, or bachelor number three? Like,
It's Oh, sorry,
I
I didn't
love
mean
it.
to interrupt. I just wanted to put in a note. For anybody who wasn't born in the 1970s, well, wasn't around the 1970s, which doesn't include
Mm.
any of us. It's actually based off of a dating show called Match Game.
I knew it was based on something. I knew it was based
Yeah.
on something, but I thought that show was from the 60s.
60s, 70s. I'm not. Actually,
I,
I gotta
I,
look
I
that up
remember.
now.
I remember watching it. I remember watching it in the 1970s.
Oh my
But
god!
no, that was.
Really? Well, you're
Yeah,
carrying your
yeah.
age pretty well.
It's the face cream I'm using at the moment. It's doing wonders for me. But no, like
73 to 82.
73.
Oh,
Wow.
okay, okay.
But uh,
But
but yeah, I really like it. I think it's a really good villain to have in the first Shrek movie. Like I said, it really used its sort of fairy tale styles and stuff like that, and it is massive. And John Lithgow's a fantastic actor.
mhm.
One of the best performances was Daddy's Home 2. I remember watching him like that, and it just the vibrant style of that I just thought was really great. So yeah,
and
he's definitely a
I
fantastic
also
actor.
think I think John should do more voiceover because
Mhm.
Yeah.
like his voice, like even when he's playing like a comedic part, his voice I always feel is like a very powerful voice.
Oh yeah.
You know, it could be anything. Like he can go like from a comedic character to a villain. Like, you know, he can play all kinds of parts. You know, I think he should do more voiceover. But one of the things I love, like in the first movie, is like when Fiona, like basically Shrek is carrying her, and then he drops her on the ground, and he's like, you know, and she's like, well, like Lord Farquaad, what's he like? And he's like, well, like I tell you, princess, frup. Like basically that people like Farquaad are in short supply, and then like basically Donkey, oh no, Shrek. There are some people who think little of him. I love that. So funny. Oh my god.
I think actually that the Shrek and Donkey dynamic and Mike Myers and Eddie Murphy sort of which made the first movie. I mean, it's not. Yes, it's fantastic in all four of them, but I think that's obviously then Puss in Boots came in to sort of join the team, and then it was a ragtag of trios. But I think that the first two, you're going on their journey. Them two characters had to work. They had to be funny and comedic, and it definitely worked alongside each other. They did that. They did that brilliantly.
Oh yeah, I mean, like through the entire like franchise, like one of the best parts is definitely Shrek and Donkey's dynamic. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
And I love and the introduction to those two, like basically how they met. I love it. I love it. Also, I just want to say this because I even said when I was little, like Lord Farquaad's symbol. Did they took as an inspiration for Facebook? Because it looks like the F from Facebook.
Very similar, yeah, very similar. Yeah,
Mark Zuckerberg, you got a lot of explaining to do.
He's got a lot of he's got a lot of explaining anyway. Rather than
in general,
yeah.
But anyway,
different subject though.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm just saying it's similar. So who knows? But anyway, like the way how they basically met each other, like basically like him doing the beware signs, and basically like him like hitting him and all that, and basically like him going behind his back trying to protect him from the guards. And I love like by the orders of Lord Farquaad, like I have to transport you to a different facility. And he's like, oh really? You in what army? And like everyone is gone. I love that. Oh my god! But also, I don't know if you agree with me, but basically the introduction and the way how Donkey was like talking and talking and talking and talking, like while they were walking. Oh my god! Like that's hilarious. I mean, it's all the praises have to go with Eddie Murphy, because the way how he voiced Donkey, they couldn't chose a better actor for this role, because like from A to Z, like he was perfect in every single level as Donkey. And I loved like all the jokes, all the like perfect timings, all the jokes, the way how he talks. Just praises. Oh my god.
I'd have to say that Eddie Murphy was still in like the height of his career. He was on, I think, till like probably the mid '80s to like the mid 2000s. He was on nothing but like a constant momentum, and this was just like one of the main performances that just like proved that he was and he still is one of the best like comedic well, he's not as much comedic anymore, but he still is one of the best performers in Hollywood.
You should watch like You People. Like
watch that, yeah.
He has more of a serious performance. Well, it's not serious, but it's more subtle.
Really, he plays the serious guy, but he is so good. He's still even as serious, he's still funny.
I know.
And I love
the themes in that film, I think, really handed itself to that. But I do think we didn't really see a lot of him sort of in the early sort of 2010s. It's only sort of towards the end we've seen him at the moment with obviously Coming to America, the sequel to that, and then obviously we had You People, which was on Netflix, in which he, still has that comedic charm, but definitely seems to be making a lot more sort of serious character development. I do think the height of what Peter was alluding to about the height of sort of his comedic career probably did end a little bit with with Shrek, because obviously Forever After was in 2010. So it's one of them where I think, them 2000s, it was the perfect casting choice. He was a perfect voice actor. Mike Myers as well for Shrek was, I think, a perfect one. And I think that's what's so important about a franchise and particularly the animation, is keeping the same actors around and making sure that their voice really does complement these characters.
Yeah, but also I just want to say, one of the things why I love the dynamic between Donkey and Shrek, and just Donkey in general, is, again, I have to go back to the first movie as well. Like, when they were like talking, and basically Shrek is like, listen, little donkey, take a look at me. What am I? And he's like, really tall? No, I'm an ogre. Grab the fork and pitchforks. Doesn't it bother you? Nope. Really? Really, really? Oh, well, I like you. What's your name? I'm like, he is one of the most positive characters I've ever seen. Like he doesn't care who you are, whatever you are. He only cares if you're a great guy or not. And I love that.
I think, do you know what? And I'm going to be very sort of, there is a link between the two comparisons, but I think they looked at the dynamic and the relationship of Woody and Buzz in Toy Story, because that was the only thing they could have really used in that first film, as sort of like, okay, this is what animated characters need to be like. They need to be completely different characters, but work together. They can't do things without each other. And I think that's exactly what Donkey and Shrek were. And I think it's more important in animated movies to get two main characters from completely opposite worlds really sort of work together and have that, great budding friendship. That's what we want to see in animated films, mainly because the target audience is kids, or big kids in our case. But it's one of them where I think that's what really needs to work, and I think they did that perfectly.
Also, we talk a lot about Shrek and Donkey, but we cannot forget, if you're going like character by character, like we have to also mention Princess Fiona. I mean, come on.
Of course.
Like Cameron Diaz is Princess Fiona. Like she's one of the basically like the golden elements basically of the franchise, and like the way how they met her, like okay, let's put it this way. Princess being locked in the highest room in the tallest tower, which is a very typical fairy tale element to the story, especially if you're like a knight trying to save her with a dragon and all that. But when Shrek met her the first time, they could have easily gone like kissing and all that, but no, Shrek, not with him. He grabs her and he's like, wake up, wake up, wake up.
He's got a job to do. He wants a swamp.
And also, which also brings me to one of my favorite parts with him and Fiona, when he's like, hey, I'm not a message delivery. I'm not a message delivery guy. Hey, I'm a delivery
boy.
I'm a delivery boy. I'm like, you wouldn't dare. And he grabs her and puts it on her. He grabs her simply, you're coming, donkey. And like they're just simply going and going. Like he takes like a bag of potatoes and basically like carrying her. No worries whatsoever. I love that. Also, one of my favorite parts. I have to say, one of my favorite parts when it comes to Princess Fiona, and I will be honest, she didn't have very, very much like very good parts by herself. But one of my most iconic parts will definitely be the Kung Fu Princess against Robin Hood and the Merry Men, or more precisely, Monsieur Hood. Basically, that whole fight sequence was amazing because not just simply it shows you a different side of her, but also it goes the different direction what usually they do with a princess character, in a different direction. I mean, honestly, it's a real shame she's not a Disney princess, because she would fit right in. Honestly, I like, oh my god, the way how she kicked like Robin Hood and Little John and Freitag and their asses, like, oh my god, like that entire sequence was great. Like I love like how the way Donkey and Shrek were like the fuck.
You can also tell it's an early 2000s project, because like everything around that time was being influenced by the Matrix.
Oh yeah, oh my god, yeah. Like I mean, you can that one of the things, and I'm gonna go jump all over the movies. Like that's one of the things why I love Shrek, the movie elements of different franchises. Like you said, The Matrix. Also, oh my god, from the cops. Like the chase scene in Shrek 2. Oh my god, from the cops. Also, like oh my god, like there's so many. Also,
It's brilliant.
I just want to jump to Shrek 2 for a moment. Like the way how they turn far away into a fairy tale version of Hollywood.
Yeah,
I
it's
love that.
brilliant.
Where all the
Like the lead,
stars.
like
where-
the lead up to like the lead up to the castle, and there's like different houses of the princesses. I think the
I,
princesses added like a really cool like comedic touch because Fiona, as you said, didn't have a lot of great things bits on her own. I think it was really cool that them really stuck to their like characters like Sleeping Beauty is just like like this, like always on anyone's shoulder and
Mhm.
stuff like that. I just think it's
I
that
just
bits
love.
where kids
I
can just
just
go Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella. It's really great to see because
I just
they're,
love that.
they're
Also, I just want to say this. I just love the way how they turned like Snow White, Rapunzel, Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella. All these iconic fairy tale princesses. I love how they turn them into like these movie stars, basically. Like basically every single villa, basically, and you see their names, like and basically you see Donkey when they're going towards the castle. You see them like saying, "Ooh, movie stars!" Like. I just love that
great.
idea. Like, oh my god. Also,
Yeah.
let's not forget the Burger King parody, Starbucks. Like, oh my god. Like the when Mungo, the giant gingerbread man, basically when
Oh
they're
yeah,
going towards castle, destroys one Starbucks, the people immediately go across the street to the other one.
that's a classic where you have to have like Starbucks as like opposite sides of the street, so you like just got to run in and get the coffee. Yeah, exactly. That's the comedic touch. A lot of people, these films are based for kids, but it's my adult things that I think using them little placements, kids are not going to know, you know, pick up on like the Starbucks and the Burger King and stuff like that. But the adults, that's what makes it funny for the adults. Makes it a really great family film. And DreamWorks do a lot right. With as does Pixar, but we're specifically talking about DreamWorks, obviously in this episode, is that there's a lot of the animated projects do attract parents
Also,
and
let's
kids,
not
and that's
forget.
really great.
Let's not forget. These movies were not just simply for kids because there are also a lot of elements for adults to understand. Basically,
Yes, that's
let
what
me
I mean. Yes,
let me give you like a few examples. Like for instance, remember when Shrek and Donkey they turn into a human and a horse, or more precisely a stallion, baby. Basically, and when Donkey says, well, first and foremost, we're gonna take off those clothes, and those girls like, like that's a that's a joke that
that's
only
a
adults
that's a
will
that's a
understand.
PG moment. That's a PG moment there.
Also, when he find out that he was gonna be the father in the third one, I love the way how
Yeah.
they use the sound of the boat and Puss in Boots saying, "And you, sir, are royally like you're royally fucked." I just love that. I mean, I love that. I mean, if you're adult, you'll know where the joke we're heading.
Yeah, of
You
course.
you know, but when you're a kid, you're like, ha ha ha, sound of a boat. But if you're adult, you know what
Exactly.
he
Yeah.
was trying to say. But basically, also one of the things is one of the girls that worked in that mill basically says, I'll be true love enough. Don't get me wrong. When Shrek turned into a human, he was actually a very handsome man. Just
Were you
saying.
saying? Yeah. Lord of Shadows, like the human version of Shrek there. But no, that's it's one of them where I do think it is tough to sort of different age groups and stuff like that. Makes it definitely a very family film and do it in such a subtle way where kids can still laugh about it, even though they have no idea what they're laughing about, which I thought was
Also,
really great.
I just want to say they turned one of the most iconic, like supporting good fairy tale characters into a villain, and I'm talking about Fairy Godmother. I love the way how
Yes.
they turn her into a villain. Like in this movie, Shrek 2, she was basically like a gangster slash businesswoman. basically.
She was the
You know,
mastermind. Yeah, she was the mastermind
exactly. Oh my
behind
god!
all the
Like,
trouble.
and even you can definitely see they took a lot of inspiration from the Disney fairy godmother, like the
Yeah.
clothes, the way how she was singing. Also, oh my god, the coach, the two bodyguards. It definitely makes you feel like she's a mobster. You know,
Yeah. I
you
said
know.
she's Jennifer Saunders who voices
Yes,
Fairy Godmother. Yeah, definitely. Again, another really big sort of British actress who's done a lot of really great stuff. But she also voices the Queen in Minions. Apparently, I'm just seeing
yeah,
here. So Fairy Godmother in Shrek and the Queen in Minions. So she's definitely got a very royal resume on
yeah.
a very British, very British.
I totally agree. Also, I was really surprised that she herself sing like "I Need a Hero."
Yes,
I thought
yeah,
like
she
they
does.
basically used. I thought basically they used like Bonnie Tyler audio, but then I was like, no, that doesn't sound like her. And I checked out like one more time, and I'm like, Jesus, the actress sang "I Need a Hero," and I was like, she's bloody good, actually.
There we
She has
go.
a really good set of pipes.
I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask the question. So we touched on the music earlier. What is the best song featured in any of the Shrek movies? What would you say? Yeah, what would be the? Is it iconic because you liked the song beforehand, or because you liked it because it was in Shrek, or what would you say? I'd say personally, Paul McCartney and Wings, "Live and Let Die." I'm a big Beatles fan. I love Paul
Uh,
McCartney.
I
That would have to
literally
be my
was
one.
gonna mention that earlier. The fact with
Yeah,
the frogs,
yeah.
like
Oh,
it was perfect. Like it
it's
was
a
a
great
sad
song.
scene, but it was perfect.
I just want to say this: it was a sad scene, but seeing those frogs sing "Live and Let Die," like
It's
it cracked
absolutely
me up.
brilliant.
It
It's
cracked me up.
brilliant.
Yeah, it had
It's
like this weird dramatic element that was just perfect.
Also, just want to say the way how John Cleese made those sounds when he was dying, like, like
um,
I was like,
I feel
Jesus, like,
I feel bad for anybody that's listening to this stream on headphones after that. My God.
oh, sorry, I'm sorry.
So yeah,
But I just love like the way how he was doing those sounds with his voice. I was like, is he trying to die or choke? Because like he sounds like he was choking, you know. But
yeah.
also,
Live and Let Die was the perfect song.
for
Perfect.
me personally, I'm gonna go. Oh, okay, you go,
No,
Peyton.
no,
You go.
go ahead. No, go ahead. You already had your idea down.
Uh, it's like fighting so much. But if I have to choose, because all the songs were great, I wouldn't go as far as say that like, even the little short version of it of "I'm on My Way," sang by like those two Scottish
Yeah.
brothers. Like even that song was really good actually. But if I have to choose, it has to be "Living La Vida Loca." Like
Yeah,
that
that's
that for me was fantastic. Also the duet between Antonio Banderas and Eddie Murphy. I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
Brilliant.
yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with "Living La Vida Loca." So back to you, Peyton.
Have a good day. I'd say I'm a believer. That like
Yes.
well, the monkeys, and the fact that Smash Mouth did a cover on it, but also like Eddie Murphy did his vocals on it was like
Oh,
perfect. Like I
and
wish we had that as the whole song. Just Eddie Murphy, because Eddie Murphy, he is a talented
He
vocalist.
is. He is.
mm-hmm. Oh my, I totally agree. I totally agree. Also, I just want to say one more thing. Can we just give a big shout of applause to Julie Andrews and John Cleese, like voicing the king and queen? I mean, come on, like
Oh yeah.
they were great. I mean, honestly, like first and foremost, John Cleese as the king. Like, I just want to say this: I love the twist in the end that basically that he was the frog, basically turned into a prince. I love that because when I was little, I was wondering like what the hell did the fairy godmother have on him, like that she threatened him. Why she was blackmailing him. And I'm like, what the hell does she have on him? And then when you see him, because I will tell you, it took me a long time to decipher her last words, where basically, I told you ogres can't live happily ever after. And I was like, what the hell did she mean by that? Like, is she going to turn me into an ogre again? I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, when I saw him as a frog, I was like, oh, now I get it.
It was a very clever bit.
The princess and the frog. I get it now. Like, basically another fairy tale connection. I love that. I love that. Also, it's a small thing, but one of my favorite moments with the king is also, come on, the iconic dinner in Shrek 2. I mean, I never understood at first. I never understood why they were crushing and smashing all that delicious food. But then later on,
it looked amazing. It looked amazing, beautifully animated food, and I was like, "Why do that?"
Yeah, I mean, like, even and I totally agree with Julie Andrews when she's like, "It's so wonderful to have a family, entire family for dinner." Like, I totally agree. Like the way she's saying in a sarcastic way. I remember, but seriously, all the delicious food, and they were destroying it out of anger. I'm like, come on. I mean, bite the table or crush the forks or whatever. Like, not the food.
Just saying. I like Donkey as he comes in, and he's just like, Donkey just gets up on the table. He's there. He's ready for his food, and as soon as the food comes, he's almost like a kid who's just like, at Christmas when the Christmas dinner comes in, and you're like, here we go. Like, he's ready for it. He's ready for it.
Also, I love how he dips in the water while he was cleaning. I love that, the little element. Also, I love the I mean, like I said, we're jumping all over the place, but I just want to say this. Let's not forget, like, the Shrek 2 introduces to another great interpretation to one of the most iconic fairy tale characters of all time, Puss in Boots, which is basically a fairy tale version of Zorro.
Again, very good. Yeah.
I mean, Antonio Banderas. Yeah, I mean, Antonio Banderas was born to play that character. I mean, like,
he literally played Zorro too.
Yes,
yeah,
he
exactly.
did twice. One time with Anthony Hopkins, and the other time in the sequel. I mean, like, he was perfect. And also, I love, like, instead of the Z, he goes with a P, like Puss in Boots.
Yeah,
I love that. Also,
in the new one when he saves the town, and now he's just like, as he's in the air. And he does it. He just drops right in front of it. It is so cool. But yeah, that is. And now he makes the stick, and when he puts his hat and his sort of cloak in there, and now he's just like, he shapes the stick into a P. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I agree. Oh my god. Also, I mean, I love the alien reference when he came out of Shrek's shirt. I love the alien reference. Oh my god. I mean, I'm telling you, like, these movies were like filled with so many references, not to mention the Shrek 2. Like, Shrek 2 was failed from the very beginning. Yeah. I mean, even that small scene at the very beginning with the ring, like, Lord of the Rings thing. Oh my god. I mean, the way how it fell into, like, Fiona's finger, which is, again, how happened to Frodo. With Frodo, with the ring when he became invisible, which is the same thing. Also, the writing, which with the exception of the Mordor language, you have "I love you" basically. Oh my god, yeah. Oh my god. But also, I just remember from the fairy godmother. Like, when she was talking to Harold, and basically she's like, "You making me do something I really don't want to do." And he's like, "Where are we?" And he's like, "Look at the fat fryer. Can I get your order? My diet is ruined. I hope you're happy." I'm like, oh, they had fast food back then? That's great.
Yeah. If it's got a Burger King, it's got because it's got some some more other channels of the fast food. But no, Puss in Boots was a really great addition to Shrek 2. Like you said, it was so filled with so many great moments and stuff like that. He definitely added, again, a different dynamic to that sort of trio of Shrek and Donkey and stuff like that. I think their friendship and the trio, none of them's the same. And they're, again, a different walk of life. But in the first one, they really cemented that friendship between Shrek and Donkey. Now you're moving into introducing Puss in Boots. I just really added again something else to that dynamic of that group.
Oh my god! Yeah, I totally agree.
Best
Also,
character. So that spin-off to them adventures, and it's definitely one. Them characters, which was a really great addition to introduce into the second one.
Oh, definitely. And I just want to say that, I mean, like I said, we're jumping like back and forth with like all the movies, but also, like, I mean, oh my god, I lost my focus now. Anyway, yeah, because the way how you were talking, like we were like basically how much we jumped back and forth, like I even like forgot what I was trying to say. Okay, let's be. You know what? Until like I remember, since I was talking almost all the entire bloody time, you two talk something.
I've got to sort of say, what would you say is, why do you think Shrek is so popular in terms of animated films and stuff like that? Because it is probably the DreamWorks version of Toy Story and its significance. It probably did start DreamWorks massively into this sort of style. Why do you think that is?
Honestly, it was very different of the time. The behind the scenes of Shrek, honestly, it's really interesting because I forget who was behind DreamWorks at the time. I don't know the names. Alan, do you know like who kind of created DreamWorks and produced Shrek and stuff like that? Do you know any of the names?
I know DreamWorks was founded by Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, I know Steven Spielberg was like a big part of it
during the time of Shrek. I don't know who was actually the CEO back then.
I forget who were like the founders, but Shrek was basically kind of built on the basis of like of a middle finger to Disney, essentially, which I kind of find that pretty interesting, and it has more of an edge to it, which I think everybody can kind of resonate, and like the way it was done at the time, like obviously like we see all these pop culture references, fourth wall breaks, all of this stuff within kind of the media that we like, kind of parody, but we never saw anything like that on that scale, and I think it was kind of revolutionary for a kids movie, and let alone like a kids movie that can appeal to all ages. And I think that kind of resonated into like our generation, essentially, with like all the memes and gifs and all of the weird internet trends that is with Shrek at the moment, which I find it very interesting, to say the least.
I'll give you just one example, which became a meme and a GIF, which is one of the most iconic scenes that Shrek has ever done, which is "Bye bye, see you later." It's like that's a very popular meme and GIF. Just saying.
I think what Peyton was touching on and sort of the impact of Shrek, and yes, we talk about Pixar quite a bit because that is DreamWorks competition, but I do think DreamWorks, at the time, I'm always a big believer in that. Pixar had 5 movies.
You're a believer.
Exactly. Exactly. I think Pixar had 5 movies that really cemented themselves in sort of, and in and amongst that time, Shrek was coming out, and I think it was something different. Pixar were never going to sort of touch on that style. So I do think Shrek definitely lives, in and amongst that. And a lot of films nowadays, I look back on and go, would that work now? Would that have the same significance now? I'm not sure whether it would. I think it's stuck in that time and was a real great franchise to come out, because I think it was so simplistic in its story and its themes and the fairy tale element, but also was just a really great animated movie. It had that responsibility, and I think they handled it really well.
I mean,
Sorry, go ahead. I don't mean to keep interrupting, but I just wanted to say one more thing. The Shrek franchise in general is very dated. It's very of its time.
Yeah, that's
But the
what I mean.
thing that what it works is it is of its time. Like there's not a lot of like franchises that will literally kind of like own up. Well, actually, yeah, there is quite a bit, but um like this is one of the franchises that just like owns like, yeah, this is pure early 2000s, and like that type of humor like can't really work like these days anymore, like not just like like with some of like content, but like just kind of how it is in general, which I like. I like it. I think, I think it works for its time, and that's one of the reasons why, like it kind of works.
I will say this: there are a few points I disagree, because now I'll try to explain as much as I can. The reason why I disagree in some points is because I don't think that some of the jokes are outdated, and I don't think that the overall style and the overall franchise on itself. It first and foremost, the franchise, the overall Shrek franchise, is still active, like even today. Not just simply it wasn't simply carry on like by itself, but also you have to understand there were also they did a lot of like there was like a Halloween special, they did a Christmas special, they did the Puss in Boots movies, they also did the DreamWorks Netflix TV show The Adventures of Puss in Boots, which is also a reference to Shrek in a
I wasn't
way.
saying it was a bad thing, and I wasn't saying the whole thing wasn't
No.
dated.
No. I'm not trying to say that. I'm trying to say is that even today, that kind of level of creativity, basically, and jokes and storytelling, all that, it could still, I think, work today. I mean, sure, yeah, there will be some things they will like add that is new, or some of the things maybe they would have been done differently. But I think the overall spirit, the overall soul of the franchise, I think could be still successful even today, because I was just trying to keep this for like the end, but like the way how Puss in Boots: The Last Wish ended, like that kind of gives you like, kind of not just you, but everyone gives an idea that a Shrek 5 might happen somewhere down the line. And as I said, like I can definitely see it do some different things, but also, like I said, the overall spirit and soul of the franchise can still go on, basically, like even if there are some things old and new. That's just simply my point of view, the way how I see it, and
I wouldn't personally do a Shrek 5. I probably would do a TV. Obviously, what they've done with Kung Fu Panda on Netflix, they've done 2 seasons of that now. Really rushed that second season out of production. The time gap between the first and the second season was really short. So I do think that they could potentially do that. I think a franchise that big, franchise that important and significant, it's almost sort of feel like when do you stop? I think it's more the case of like, instead of continuing, you can sort of expand. I think that's what they've done with the the Christmas special, the Halloween special, the Puss in Boots movies. Is that absolutely, the world can expand. You've got a fan base, that you can show young kids and go, look, this is what I used to like when I was growing up. And films like that. That's the beauty of films and the significance of films, is that you can show them to each passing generation. like you said, I think the soul and the spirit can really work. But what now is that when is it enough? When is it too much to carry this on? We have a solid story, but I think with a TV show, you could lean in really to like little mini adventures, comedic, comedic stories. Really look at this. Just and Fiona and obviously the kids that they had. I think potentially a TV show could really work into further extensions instead of making a full feature sort of movie where the stories probably won't link together and probably will feel a little bit forced.
Well, the thing is that I think like I don't know if it was director or one of the producers, but I think behind Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, they did say that first and foremost, the Shrek franchise, it's not just simply they didn't just simply did like a new thing like year after year after year. No, like the Shrek like franchise basically like let's just say like from Forever After, it was basically put on hold basically ever since then. The only thing that was touched upon was basically the Puss in Boots movies and the TV show they did. But I think like again, I don't know if it was like the producer or the writer or the director, but I heard somewhere, basically, if they have a good story to tell, there is a big possibility for a Shrek 5 to happen, because I do believe, because the thing is, DreamWorks, Shrek for DreamWorks is one of their greatest creations. And one of the things I know DreamWorks they always do is they take every single franchise they do with care. And Shrek definitely they care a lot about it. So
Yeah.
I don't think they're just gonna like try to do like a quick buck base, try to earn like a quick buck or something, basically easy money thing. I think like if they're gonna do a Shrek 5, I think it's gonna be done with care, and I think like if they have a good story to tell, they're gonna do it. So I think like I basically just like they did with The Last Wish. I think if they're gonna do it, I think they're gonna try to take time and try to come up with like with a good story with a lot of like interesting and good elements. At least that's the way how I see it.
If you take your time and if you make a really great film, then absolutely. I just think it's one of them things where attaching it and just going, we're making a Shrek 5. As big movie fans ourselves, we almost sort of feel like, okay, what are you going to do it on? But also the reason why we're sitting here watching the movies because we don't have the talent and the ideas to make a good enough story for a full feature film. Like I said, I'm not saying that DreamWorks don't take their time. It was 10 years, 11 years between the first Puss in Boots movie and this Last Wish, and you really saw the fan base and the critics really respond to that and go, I've always wanted a Puss in Boots 2. Let's do it. I think instead of continuing that long story, expanding that world, you've got an audience, and I do think the bunch of characters that you've got, used in this world, I think could be used in stories instead of feeling forced like you have to make another Shrek movie. I know they might take their time, but it's been 13 years since the last Shrek movie. How much longer are they going to take?
I mean, yeah. You also have to realize, that the many ever since like Shrek Forever After, Puss in Boots and Puss in Boots: The Last Wish were not the only projects they had. They also had other different projects to do since then. And basically, since Forever After, as I've seen like many different comments from the people behind the scenes, they did actually comment that Shrek Forever After for them was actually supposed to be like the final chapter of the franchise. Basically like that's where we're gonna end it. And as I said at the very beginning, Shrek Forever After for me, I thought it was a very satisfying ending. It wasn't like a epic ending, but it was satisfying in some capacity. I love the way how it ended and all of that. Also, speaking, there's one thing I want to ask you guys. I'm going back to the Shrek franchise overall. How the fuck did Donkey shag the dragon?
Okay, this is not what we need to talk about in this. It is. I don't feel comfortable with talking about. Peyton, you can answer if you want to, but I'm going to bear myself out of that one.
I'm sorry. Someone had to say it.
But I like
Okay?
how you probably planned it and gone, you know what, Kieran and Peyton, they are going to have some good opinions on this category. Let me write it in my list of questions. My God. Peyton,
Look,
mate, feel free to answer it.
Yeah,
look, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Okay, I had to say it because when I saw the crate scene with those little donkey dragons or the dragonkies, whatever, whatever, or dongrans, whatever. I don't know how the fuck you can call them, but basically when I saw those demons, whatever, I'm like, how is that even possible? Like she would have smushed him. Like how big she is and all that. Like how did that happen? You know?
Look,
And I'm like,
look, there's different ways to make babies now, so I might be like ahead of its time. And
how
like
would
that.
that? How can that
If it
work
has
for
a
the
Burger
dragon?
King and Starbucks in the world, I'm pretty sure it finds alternative ways to make babies. But
Okay, fine.
it's one of them. I can't
this
believe I'm
is a
going.
kids franchise, Alan.
Not
This is
exactly. Not exactly. Because
Peyton's
it has a
like
lot of
saying,
adult
"Please
elements.
stop." Like honestly,
But also, let me go to another topic, okay? Let's leave that behind. You know,
thank
but
you.
I'm sorry. I had to say it because I just love to see your expressions. Okay,
Okay.
just saying.
Yeah,
I'm there.
you asked that just so you can make us uncomfortable.
That's me.
Welcome to the Shadow Council, everyone. There we go.
Anyway, one of the things I love about the Shrek franchise also is it's a small piece, but I love the way how they showed it in the second movie and also majorly in the third movie, and that is the poison apple. I love the way how that tavern is basically where all the fairy tale villains gather around. You have like the headless horseman, Captain Hook. You have the twin evil sisters. One of them voiced by the God rest his soul, Larry King. Like you have the. Okay, one question: what the fuck is Red Riding Hood doing there? Because I'm like, she's not a villain. You know, like because you see her like she's like 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 in the Red Hood, like like evil. I'm like, she's not evil. If someone has
Fairy
to be evil,
Godmother's not evil. Fairy Godmother's not evil.
yeah. But I'm just saying, also like I love the Disney reference with like Captain Hook playing the piano. I love that reference.
That's
You
that
know,
good. It's like,
also
I bet. Did you, as obviously you're a big fan of villains, aren't you? Like villains in movies and stuff like that. I'm surprised that you did like Shrek 3 as more than you did with all them villains just on it. It
no,
was
no, 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 no,
brilliant.
no, no. Hey. I did say it's the weakest, but
Yeah.
definitely the villain part. That I was like, I had a
Yeah.
blast. I had a
It must
blast
have
with that.
been.
Like,
That's what
I
I
mean,
mean.
come on, all those villains invading far away. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's
Come on.
brilliant.
Also, I
Brilliant.
love like first and foremost, I was surprised that Ian McShane voiced James Hook. I was surprised to see that.
He's a
Also,
great actor. He's a great actor. I can't wait to see him in John Wick 4.
really.
In that's gonna be really great. Yeah, he's a fantastic actor, and his voice is just so sort of like. There's a lot of scenes in John Wick when he's just coming around the corner in the darkness, and you could just hear that voice, and you're like, man, that's.
But also the one thing
But no, there's no link between John Wick and Shrek. We'll stop that link. Very good.
definitely. Oh my! One of my favorite parts is when basically she was on a horse and he's like, is that Peter Pan? He's my son. Shut up, Wendy. I just love that. I'm like a little Peter Pan reference. I love that. But also, this franchise is great with the main characters, but the franchise is also stronger with the minor supporting characters. I mean, we have to mention like you have the Mirror, Pinocchio, the blind rats. You have like the big bad wolf. You have
Three blind mice.
Free blind mice. Thank you, not rats. Blind mice. You have the free pig.
Just
You
changing
have
the
the
animals
free
up
pigs.
completely. Very good. Just
like
changing the animals up.
also, come on, the little gingerbread man. I mean, like even like when you see the first movie, you think of them like like background characters, secondary characters. Like okay, it was nice to see them. But as the franchise grew, they became more and more important. And I love how the people behind Shrek franchise, I love how they gather all these iconic fairy tale characters and make them supportive. In the
I'm,
movies.
They
I'm
feel
sure,
like supporting characters in a sitcom.
yes. Yeah. That's true.
Honestly, give me a sitcom with the Gingerbread Man, the Three Pigs, Pinocchio, all the time.
And the
Do
wolf.
either
On the
do
wall.
either of you remember Ned's Classified School Survival Guide?
No.
Oh my god, I didn't saw that for a long time, but I remember like very briefly.
Yeah. For whatever reason, Pinocchio and Gingerbread Man remind me of Coconut Head and Martin Corley. I don't know why, they just do.
I like is it in Shrek 3? Is it Shrek 3 when I think it is. I'm sure Alan will tell me different, but when Prince Charming is interrogating Pinocchio and just going, "You can't lie," and he just waffles so much, and it's just like he's one of them where it's like, "I'm not going to say it directly. I'm just going to go around the story." And that was one of them. That was my favorite Pinocchio moment, where it's just like,
I agree. That
is
moment.
Is it Shrek 3?
Shrek the Third.
Right,
Yes.
yeah.
I agree. That moment, because Pinocchio,
so
the iconic elements of him lying and the nose getting longer, like that moment was so good. Like the way how he was like, I don't know where he is, but I do know that he's not here. Like the way he was going around and round in circle. I'm like, that's perfect.
And then I
perfect.
think it cuts away to something else, and then it goes back to that, and you just see like Prince Charming there, like, oh, this guy, he's just stop talking, please, just stop.
But also, he made the pigs nuts, and they confessed.
Also, the people the pigs did.
Also, I just want to mention, because he doesn't get too much respect, but also Arthur in Shrek the Third. I felt like he was actually an interesting character, and shit, I forgot his name. Who is voicing Arthur? The famous singer.
Oh, Justin Timberlake.
Yes, I thought he was good as Arthur. Like the overall, like, talking the way, like, he's talking about life and like hope, what's good, what's bad, like all the philosophy element, basically. Like, I love that, and I like.
I think every character brings sort of a different sort of style, and I think it brings like different themes that it can explore, and like it's just one of them where I do see like that character being very, very different to any other character in this sort of world. How like Prince Charming and him were just total complete opposites, and
I just want to ask you.
That's what the show does really well. Is that as well as the characters and the sort of things like that they and the interactions are very just sort of, you're on one end of the spectrum, I'm on the other end, but they have to, and I think that's what who am I rooting for? That's what's really, really cool, because they do that with Shrek and Donkey. Obviously then Puss in Boots comes into the frame, but then even Prince Charming and Arthur are just completely sort of different characters, but they and totally different philosophies, and that's what
also having one of the members of the Monty Python voicing Merlin. I mean, that's just the cherry on the top.
I like how Merlin was like this crackpot former like science teacher, and now he lives in a van.
No, he doesn't live in a van. He lives on an island.
Island, okay. I thought he lived in a van for some reason.
No,
that would be very interesting. Yeah, I'm going to get out my camper van and that'd be really good.
But also, I just want to say, what did you guys thought of the? I would like to call it the theatrical hero versus villain in the Shrek the Third like finale, like between Charming and him. Like, how did you thought of that battle between heroes and villains, like that theatrical, basically battle? How did you thought of that?
I liked it.
Yeah. I thought it. Also, I just have to say, the guy who voices Charming, which I forgot his name again, like I have to say, this guy has also a good set of pipes, because he was singing. Also, I love the idea of Rapunzel having a wig. That was hilarious. Oh my god!
I'm gonna look him up.
I'm just trying to see Shrek 2. Yeah, Prince Charming is voiced Rupert Everett again. Yeah, Rupert Everett.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I mean, I want to ask you: do you think when the dragon pushed the tower, do you think that it actually killed him, or it fall exactly on the where the window was?
I
What do you
think it
think?
killed him. I think it killed him. I think
Because I watched that
the
scene.
strength of a mother's dragon was I know I'm trying to bring that back again. Sorry, Peyton. But to push that tower, yeah, I think it killed him. Yeah.
Also, I just want to say the princesses slash Charlie's Angels moments, like that for me was like hilarious.
Cameron Diaz too. 2002 Charlie's Angels.
Exactly.
There are so many weird parallels.
Oh my!
I liked in that scene where like they decide to like rip their things and like are ready. And like they were like the shoes, like it's just there. It's just like pick out anything you want. And you got
Also,
it.
I
Setting on
love
fire, like they were there with the fire. That was really good.
also I love the dopey tattoo on Snow White's arm. that was priceless.
Don't forget the Immigrant song. I think it was Snow White, or was it Snow White who? Oh no,
Yes.
The animals.
Ah. That was
Yeah.
that was also. Do you think when she was doing the like? Do you think they took the voice recording of the original Snow White from the 1937?
It sounded very similar.
Because
It sounded,
it sounded very similar.
Yeah, I thought that, but no, that was really cool when she did that, and then it made me realize when I rewatched Shrek, just as you do, I remember like that, and I just thought that's been used in Thor Ragnarok and this. Like this song is just going all out of it into like cool badass moments. The God of Thunder, destroying the Hellas monsters, and Snow White with some birds and all the animals attacking. It's completely opposite, but I love it. The song really
Also,
works.
I want to ask you, like, what did you thought of like basically Donkey and Puss in Boots switching minds?
Scary and crazy. Like that, like I said, them two characters are so different, and they just could not work out, sort of like what to do. I thought that was a really sort of like cool thing. I thought that was really good.
Also, let's not forget, because we forgot to mention, because that was also introduced in Shrek 2, one of the most powerful memes ever created, and that is the Puss in Boots glare. I mean, come on. Like every time when I saw those eyes, literally, I wanted to go inside the TV and basically like literally pet him. Like he was so
The
cute.
amount of kids who probably tried that to like convince their parents to like to do stuff, it probably actually really worked. But no, that's really good.
Also, I just want to say, when it comes to the Shrek franchise, they did something Shrek Forever After that I was asking for, like the second and the third before they came out, and they finally give me that wish in Forever After. It's really unfortunate. It was like an alternate reality thing, but I loved seeing Shrek with other ogres. That's the one thing I was missing, because I felt like, is he actually really the only ogre in this world? I'm like, really? And I love seeing all the other ogres like part of the resistance, but I just love seeing Shrek with the other ogres, and I mean, come on, like the ear they think like that was perfect, but seeing the other ogres in the fourth movie, what did you thought?
Yeah, it definitely added, again, adding more characters into this sort of world and really expanding it. And I think, like you said, it could have worked in Shrek 2 and 3, but definitely the fourth one, definitely handed itself to a little bit more creativity with the existing characters that you've got. And adding ogres in there it was one of them where it's an easy thing to, just chuck in. And they could have chucked it in 2 and 3, but the fact that they waited all towards their sort of final concluding film, if lack of a better term, then I think it was a really, really smart, intelligent decision to leave that until your fourth film.
And Peyton?
I did know that.
Fair enough.
Sorry, I just don't have much to say on it.
He's just, I love ogres. That's what I mean. He's just sitting back going,
Yeah, there's just ogres.
Just ogres,
Like,
yeah.
I haven't
Yeah,
seen.
but I was
I haven't
asked.
seen that movie in a long time, so I
Yeah,
can't really
neither
say
have I.
much.
But for me, it was like only yesterday. Well, technically, a few days before. But anyway, like I was so happy because literally when I watched the first one for the first time, I was like, okay. I mean, I wouldn't say Fiona is an actual ogre because of whole the spell curse thing. She's not an actual ogre, but I've always wanted to see Shrek with other ogres, because I didn't want to because I didn't believe that he was the only one. Like what happened with the others? Like, they were a slaughter or something, and basically Shrek Forever gave me that with other ogres. I was so happy to see with the others. Also, I mean, like one of them. I mean, come on, John Hamm voiced one of the ogres, which was for me personally was great. But also one of my favorite scenes in Shrek Forever definitely has to be not just simply the roar, not just simply that, but also when he sees Fiona for the first time, he's like, Fiona, I finally found you, and then like one strike with the foot, bang, like slow motion moment that was so hilarious. And also when she was trying to explain like we're married and all that, I'm like, priceless. That was priceless. Oh my god. Also, like, yeah, I mean, how did you feel seeing Puss in Boots fat? That for me was like a little bit iffy.
I don't really have any thoughts with it.
One of the things I will say, when Shrek saw him, when he was like, Puss, what happened to you? You're so fancy. Okay, that was really funny. But what did you thought of seeing Puss in Boots fat? FRC.
It worked very well with the character. Milk puts on a lot of fat. So yeah, no, and then, like, probably mixed in a bit of alcohol in there, but obviously couldn't do that as it's a kids movie. But yeah, it's it was just the idea of an alternate timeline, not a multiverse, and they want Peyton to go me again. But it's one of like an alternate timeline. You could use that sort of creativity and make these characters, go into some really crazy shenanigans, and make the film as enjoyable as possible, because these characters are so recognized and well known. Then you can completely turn it on its head, and that's exactly what it did with Puss in Boots. It was really great.
Now, I want to ask you, before we go to Puss in Boots, I just want to ask you one last thing about the Shrek franchise. Like, how would you rank the villains, like from worst to best?
Are we saying, just for clarification, are we saying that the fairy godmother was a villain in Shrek 2? Are we saying that she?
I mean, all the villains in the Shrek movies.
Okay, I'd say it's hard because I do think they are all really good. I think it's really hard to sort of put them into a list. They're very, very close, but I would probably say Lord Farquaad at the bottom. I know that's harsh, but it's Rumpelstiltskin at third, Prince Charming at second, mainly because I think he had that character progression being in 2 and 3, and then Fairy Godmother. I thought she was that sort of really great menacing sort of character that really sort of was more psychologically sort of evil, and I think that really worked. So yeah, that's my list, but very, very close. It's really a very hard one to do.
Fair enough. You, Peyton?
I will have to say Rumpelstiltskin at the bottom, just because I don't really remember the fourth one that much. Probably then I'd say King Arthur at third, Fairy Godmother.
King Arthur.
What that?
You said King Arthur.
Sorry, they look a lot alike.
You meant Prince Charming.
Prince Charming at third, um, uh, Fairy Godmother at second, and then I'm very biased because I love John Lithgow, Lord Farquaad at first.
Okay, fair enough. Then, for me personally, just like you, I mean, I love all the villains in Shrek. I thought that they're done really good. But if I have to rank them, I will go. It's really a bit surprising, but I will go with like at the bottom, Prince Charming. Then I'm going with Lord Farquaad. Then I'm going with Rumpelstiltskin, and then Fairy Godmother. Because I personally think of all the villains, I think like the best ones for me are Fairy Godmother, Rumpelstiltskin, because they both screwed Shrek like really good.
Yeah.
Just saying, So that's basically my ranking.
So, well, by the way, I just wanted to quickly say thank you very much for the leader, the main man, Lord of Shadows, for having me back onto the Shadow Council. Really enjoyed it. Thank you very much to Peyton as always. Great to see you, mate. So, looking forward to the next episode of Shadow Council. Make sure you subscribe to that man and his incredible channel because he's a fantastic, fantastic creator. But we'll see you very, very soon. Film Review Central out.
See you, Karen.
Well, it's just you and me now.
Yep.
Well, I mean, like we talked a lot about the Shrek movies. Like I said, we went back and forth. So the only thing we are left with is the Puss in Boots movies.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how is your memory for the first Puss in Boots?
I've actually never seen.
You're kidding.
I probably should have had a disclaimer at the first, but God.
How can I talk about that first movie? Because I don't want to spoil you now anything.
I'm sorry. I didn't know we'd be talking about it that much.
I mean, I said the Shrek franchise. I didn't mean just simply the Shrek movies. But okay. Okay. You know what? Just because you didn't saw the Puss in Boots movie, I don't want to spoil you anything. I want you to have a blind, total reaction to it.
How about we talk about the second one, and then I'll head off, and then you can just talk about the first one. Actually, you know what? You can spoil it. I don't care. I haven't.
I don't want it for you. I don't want it.
Listen, that movie is 12 years old. If I wanted to see it by now, I would have.
Okay. Let me put it this way. So basically, Puss in Boots, the first movie, which is basically the only spin-off of the Shrek movies. Basically, the first movie explores the story overall is simple. Like you have Puss in Boots, Kitty Softpaws, and voiced by Selma Hayek, just like in the second one. You have Humpty Dumpty, who is voiced by the Zach from Hangover.
Oh, Zach Galifianakis.
I always butcher his last name. I don't know why. I always butcher his name. So that's why I always
Galifianakis.
Even now, if I say it, I will butcher it.
Okay.
But thank you anyway. That's why I always say Zach from Hangover.
Yeah.
Yeah. But basically, so basically you have those three characters and they go on this mission to like go up the magic beanstalk and try to steal the golden eggs, basically. Okay. And again, and also in the movie explores the origin of Puss in Boots, basically how he got the boots, how he got the name and all that, I'm trying to say very briefly, because I don't want to go really deep for you. Okay. Also, I just want to say this: Guillermo del Toro also voices a character in the movie.
Ooh, okay. Now I need to watch it.
It's a small role, but when you hear him, I think you will recognize him.
Yeah, he has a very distinct voice.
Yeah. Also, one of the main villains are also Jack and Jill. Went up the hill.
Yeah.
Okay. But in this version, they are not children; they're actually like really big brutes, also murderous outlaws.
Are they vampire hunters?
No, they look like they came out of a Western movie.
Okay, well, I was referencing the 2013 movie.
Oh, yeah.
Kinda-
I kind of assumed you were going that direction, but I just take it. I just put it easy for you. Like they when you see them, it's like they went out from a Wild West movie, basically,
Okay.
because they literally look like they come from the Wild West.
Okay.
You know, so that's basically about the movie, and also it explores the relationship between Puss in Boots and Kitty Softpaws.
Okay.
Also, I just want to say there's one scene how they first met each other in a bar. I want to say going into deep elements to it of it, but I just want to say it's kick-ass good.
Okay.
Also hilarious.
All right. Now I need to check it out now.
Good. Yeah. Also, like I said, the story on itself, it's simple. It's not
Okay.
like a blockbuster epic proportion.
Yeah.
You know. But I still, even the person I think Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is way better than the first one. But I still see Puss in Boots as a really super fun time. With like popcorn, snacks, whatever. When you're watching it.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, come on, Antonio Banderas. He still kicks ass as Puss in Boots.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He never will lose his momentum.
Exactly. And also he even said himself that this is one of his most favorite roles he ever did, Puss in Boots.
Nice.
So, without any further ado, let's go to the second one, which you're familiar with. Okay. I mean, how can I start with? Like, I mean, you have to start with like, who is your favorite fearless hero?
Who's your favorite
fearless hero? Oh my god! I mean, like, also again, Antonio Banderas just like in the second movie. I mean, people forgot because I've seen a lot of movie reactions to the movie, The Last Wish, and people were saying, "Why? Wow, Antonio Banderas has a really great set of pipes." I'm like, did you guys watch Shrek too? Like the Living La Vida Loca, he was singing with Eddie Murphy. So I'm like, okay. Anyway, also I just want to say for the very briefly, I love the Shrek donkey cameo. Like his lives flashing. I love like that little brief cameo of those two. I love that. I mean, as I said before, the story now this is a story of epic proportions. This is a really big story, involves with so many characters, villains, and one of the things I mean, I can go on and on, but like, let's go to you first. Like, let me see your own thoughts about The Last Wish.
It was great. Yeah. Honestly, like all of the newer animated projects these days are taking tons of inspiration from Into the Spider-Verse, just because it had such a distinct style that like we haven't seen anywhere else. And this it takes that style but combines it with kind of the more realistic animation to make something that's very unique and something that like is pretty much like kind of, wouldn't say revolutionary, but it helps drive the animation business a bit.
I mean, when Spider-Verse came out back then, it was revolutionary when it comes
I
to
know.
the overall animation, and definitely like old like since we're talking about DreamWorks, the bad guys from that movie on, DreamWorks took a lot of inspiration from it. When it comes to the animation. Now, which also made me curious, like how Trolls 3 will come out. Like, are they going to go like with the same animation the first two were done, or they're going to go the Spider-Verse style? Because they did say, because the guy from the Last Wish did say that it all depends on filmmaker to another filmmaker. It all depends on the filmmakers, like which style they want to go. But I will say this: the style of animation in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, I think, like, it gave him
Mhm.
so much more like great elements to it.
Also, the coloring is really good.
Yes, yes, and also what I love, it made the character look more cartoony,
Hmm.
which is one
Which
of the
we
things.
need.
Exactly, which exactly what I was trying to say, which is one of the things that Puss in Boots needed.
Mhm.
I mean, not just really Puss in Boots. Like, just look at again the bad guys. That was a very cartoony look
Hmm.
they did, and did it in a really great job. But also, one of the things that Puss in Boots: The Last Wish did that I thought that I was begging, begging for years to do it, like for any other studio to do. Give me a straight up villain with no reason of why he become evil. Big Jack Horner. I enjoy that character so much. So much. I mean, people would say, like, I've seen a lot of people saying, that they don't quite like Jack Horner because he's just, there to be evil. Like, there's no reason behind it. I'm like, that's the whole point. Because we need a villain that simply wants to be evil. Like, there's no reason by it. Because I'm kind of, also, honestly, don't get me wrong, I'm kind of getting tired of like villains getting so much explanation why they become evil. Why can't you just simply like create a story of a villain that, when he was born, like he was evil from the very beginning, or something like that?
Yeah.
Even though, I mean, you can kind of debate that they kind of give a reason why Jack Horner became a villain.
Mhm.
Like with the flashback with the little Jack Horner sitting in the corner eating a Horner pie. Like, you kind of get the reason, but would you call it like a reason enough?
I don't know.
Because I personally saw it like like a shadow, like a reflection of something that he used to be.
Yeah.
Like something that he hates people remembering him for. Also, I mean, I forgot his name. Who also voiced Spider. I would say Spider Pig, but I know in the
Spider Ham, and it's John
thank you.
Mulaney.
Yes, he also voiced Jack Horner, and he did
Yes.
another great job. But I love the way how he said, "Little Jack Horner didn't have any magic. He was a pathetic little baker's boy. Little Jack's dead. I'm Big Jack Horner." Literally. Also, I mean, like, oh, can you and I agree that Perrito was a great
Oh, I
character?
know. Oh, absolutely.
I just want to ask you, what was your what was your reaction to when he was like beeping when he was facing Goldilocks and the three bears?
Beeping?
That you're a bunch of Hump McGratty, now just screaming, grab beep, Fiona beep 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 beep,
Oh, that
and
was
no
funny.
sooner.
That was funny.
I was like, I was like, honestly, I was laughing, but I was like, also, yes, yes. I was like, that's why, just like Guillermo del Toro said, animation is a medium.
Mhm.
And I love that they had no boundaries. Like,
Mhm.
they go full forward, like they went full onward, like, with like when it comes to like adult elements, to like, not just simply being kid friendly.
Yeah.
I love that. Also, the way how he was censored, like when he was like beep for brains, which is definitely shit for brains.
Yeah.
I
I
also
I did want to say, I didn't mean to interrupt, but and I've been interrupting a lot accidentally today.
no, that's okay.
Yeah. Puss's arc, I feel like, is like absolutely great. What was
Hmm.
the wolf's character? Oh, Death.
Deaf.
Yes. I thought like his confrontation with Death, like
That was great.
in general, his whole arc, like kind of realizing, yeah, that he's mortal, and he's gonna go someday. And the final fight was just absolutely incredible.
Also, I just want to put a comedy element to your discussion. The way how he died 8 times, that was hilarious. Every
Yes,
single death was hilarious.
yes,
Oh my god! Also, I loved even though it was like when he was like all burned. I love the cameo of Gingerbread Man.
yes.
There was a small cameo, but I love that. I love that little touch. Also, come on, let's not forget Pinocchio. He also cameoed in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which was also great. But I love the way how he died, all
Mhm.
8 deaths,
Yes.
and also, but this is gonna sound a little bit dark, but if you have to choose your favorite way how he died, what would it be?
Jeez, I'm trying to remember. Maybe the Oktoberfest one with the milk.
That's also my favorite. He was like drunk of drinking milk, and he's like, "Watch!" Like a cat almost lands on his feet. Watch, and he's like, you see him drop down and like very slowly, like dropping up the building. Oh my god, that was hilarious.
Mhm.
Also, speaking of Puss in Boots arc, I loved how he was like in that crystal cave, and I loved how he was like facing his former lives. I love
Yes.
that.
Mhm.
Basically, also improving his character development, like basically also make him realize how he wasted his lives. That
Yes.
it was basically, uh, you know, stupid, and also at the same time, even though he said he was kind of very disturbing, but like saying like you guys are jerks, which basically means calling yourself a jerk.
Yes.
But I love that. I love that part as well, and I agree. Your Puss in Boots arc is also way stronger than what it was in Puss in Boots the first movie. Again, it had an arc which was also interesting and good, but the best one I have to say was in The Last Wish.
Yes.
You- yeah.
Exactly.
Also, I just want to say I love that cat home, like
Mhm. Yeah.
not simply cooking for himself, but also with the way he was peeing.
Mhm.
Oh my god! Also, I want to ask you, what did you feel of Goldilocks and the Three Bears?
I really like them, honestly. I like Goldie's arc and the Three Bears, especially the youngest one.
Oh yeah,
Um,
baby.
yeah. Also,
I-
I like how like Mama Bear was just like supportive of Goldie no matter what. It was really sweet.
I will be honest with you, it almost made me cry when
Yeah.
she came to Goldilocks, when she told him that she wants a proper family. And the way how she looked at her, started crying, and basically saying, if this is one thing that will make you happy, we'll get you that wish. I'm like, I literally almost started crying. Like, even though she basically told him to fuck off, like, she still cared for her. She
Hmm.
still loved her. And I'm like, my heart literally was hurting how much emotional I was like during that moment. I mean, also speaking of emotion, this movie was so emotional as well on so
Hmm.
many levels.
It's very
Oh my,
emotional,
yeah.
more
Also,
than it
I
should be.
exactly. Also, uh, I loved the overall mythology they gave to the wishing star. Like the way how you touch the map, and basically the map transforms into basically the map basically shows you who you really are. Basically.
Yes.
And I love like Kitty Softpaws and Puss in Boots. They're trying to touch the map, and they're like, basically worst of the worst. And then who has the paradise map? Perrito. Like, okay, you carry the map. Oh my god. Also, uh, like there's so much I want to talk about Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, but like the going back to the overall mythology around the wishing star, I really love the way how they used it. Also, I loved like how the star was basically this big star like crystal.
Mhm.
Like I love that. Also, I'm jumping all over the place, but that finale with like basically everyone facing against each other for the map was so good. It was basically like a Wild West face off.
Oh, absolutely.
And I love that, and not just simply the overall fight, but also like the movements of the camera, basically.
Mhm.
If you know what I mean.
Yes.
Oh my god, that it was great. Also, I love the way how they continue the relationship between him and Kitty Softballs.
Yes.
Oh my god, and also like they like in Santa Coloma, like oh my god, like every time, like yeah, that's the face I remember, the face that I saw the last time in Santa Coloma. Oh my god. Also, I mean, I want to ask you, what did you thought of Puss in Boots and his with the beard?
So did him.
I know. I'll be honest, it really suited him. And I love how Kitty Softballs basically tell him like, what are you now, a pirate? Oh my god. And also, I mean, like, I can go all over the place, but I one of the things I love about is how first and foremost, the place where Jack Horner lives, it's basically a fairy tale Mordor. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, the houses, the factory, like it's basically fairy tale Mordor. And also, like, I love how he was tasting the pies. Like, you see the thumb. Like, I love the detail. Like, the thumb is still red of all the pies that he stick his finger.
Yes.
Also, did you catch the Terminator reference at the end? What did I do to deserve this? I mean, what specifically?
That's funny. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I did.
yeah, because the Terminator did this, and
Yes.
basically Jack Horner was like, "What specifically?" Also, I just want to say his last words were hilarious. Like,
Mhm.
what did I do to deserve this? I mean, what specifically?
Yes.
Oh my god. Yeah, yeah.
Too.
I mean, I felt like, basically Jack Horner as a straight up villain, I felt like really balanced like other character arcs like, Goldilocks, Death, the Big Bad Wolf. Like, would you agree?
Yes.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, like, oh my god, like that. This movie was there was so many fairy tale references. I mean, you can start from the magic carpet. I can show you the world. Like the magic carpet, Gulliver's Travels, like with a little ship of the little people, Cinderella, little maid with a trident. Also the magic apple from Snow White, which by the way, I love how they reinvented them as grenades. I love that.
Yeah.
Also the Mary Poppins magic bag.
Yes.
I mean, he even said it. It's a magical, it's a magical nanny bag. Oh my god. That also Cinderella, with the shoe. Do you think the Phoenix was a reference to Harry Potter?
Well, the Phoenix is more of like a general mythical creature, so
Yes, I was wondering like what reference they were using for the Phoenix. Because I don't remember the Phoenix in any fairy tale at all. So I thought like at first I thought like it was Harry Potter.
yeah.
Also, what did you thought of Jiminy Cricket?
I like how he sounded like Jerry Seinfeld.
More precisely, James Stewart.
Oh yeah. Oh, I could see that.
Yeah, I'm unconscious. Maybe we should take a little deeper. How about your childhood? Like that's so James Stewart.
Yes.
Oh my god! And
I'll,
also,
I'll get you the money. Okay. I'll get you the money.
exactly. Oh my god! Also, well, that's also one of my favorite scenes. Like, where basically, when he says like, I didn't have much when I was a kid. Just loving parents, stability in a mansion, and a big baker's factory to inherit. Useless crap like that. What the fuck? Your life was perfect. Oh my god. Also, I love like the way how they introduced the three bears and Goldilocks. I love like they were like, too big, too small, but these ones are just fine. Like every single time, every joke they made was done in a Goldilocks and the three bear style. Oh my god. And I love like how the bear, the Papa Bear, he basically came towards that woman. He's like, "Excuse me, mom. We're looking for the legendary Puss in Boots. Have you bang seen him?" Like you seem like he's gonna like he was like ready to tear her apart, and then basically speaks gently like a gentleman. Also, I didn't thought that they're gonna talk. I wasn't prepared for that. Awkward silence.
Hey, not all silence is awkward.
Mm,
Let's
yeah,
just
I mean,
figure
did you actually was prepared that the Bears will talk or not?
I thought it was cool that they talked.
Also, the way how he played the piano, like that was hilarious, and also like I mean, I remember that song, but like the way how you play, like "Roll Out the Barrel," like, that was really funny. Oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh my god! Also, like if you like when you think of all the characters that appear in The Last Wish, like who do you think would be your favorite character?
Probably Perrito.
I'm actually like it's a tie for me for Perrito and I mean I love Puss in Boots, but for me it's a tie between Perrito and Death.
Death was really cool.
Oh my! Also, that whistle,
Mm-hmm.
the way he was whistling. Oh my god! Literally, I'm like that. Give me goosebumps every time.
Oh yeah.
Like also like the way I laugh in the face of death, and basically he was drinking. You see that whistling, you hear that the whistling, and basically all of a sudden he appears like right next to him, like poof, like that. I mean, were you suspecting that he was actually deaf from the beginning?
I did not.
Because I had my suspicions because he kind of looked like the Grim Reaper in a way, but I mean, first and foremost, let's just also appreciate that they showed a little bit of blood in this movie,
Yes.
which animation didn't do in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Which was for me personally was great. They did, But also, I mean, not just the last fight, but also the first fight they had for me was also great. Mm-hmm.
Yes. That was amazing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, like I said, the overall choreography in animation, like when you speak, like not simply the battle at the Wishing Star, but also like the two battles between Death and Puss, but also like the giant, like all those battles like were really well choreographed, really well. Also, I was really surprised to see Goldilocks being voiced by Yelena Belova.
Yes. Florence
Oh my-
Pugh is
Exactly.
like one of the best up and coming actors there is. Right
And
now.
also, I like she has a even when I heard her talking, like she actually has a very strong British accent,
Mm-hmm.
and I love the way how she used it to voice Goldilocks. I love that. Oh my god. Oh my god. I mean, personally, all the characters were great, all the way from Puss in Boots to like Jiminy Cricket.
Definitely.
All the characters were great, and like, I mean, honestly, there's no even when I saw the movie the first time, like there's no negative point for me in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, also, I just want to say it's a little touch, but I love like how they use like the Spanish Mexican song in the background. I love the little touch they did.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Honestly, it was probably one of my favorite movies of last year.
I'll even go as far as say this is probably one of the best DreamWorks movies that they ever did, like ever since the beginning.
Yes.
It's definitely one of the best.
Definitely up there.
Yeah, it's that for me personally. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish definitely entered my top 10 like DreamWorks animated movies.
Rightfully so.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, definitely. And also the reason why I mentioned before, like Shrek 5, because you remember the way how The Last Wish ended.
Yes.
Also, you can hear the soundtrack in the background, like when you saw Far, Far Away.
Yep.
So that's one thing that made a lot of people think, like, if Shrek 5 will happen. And I honestly, if it actually happens, because remember, a lot of the voice actors are in game when it comes to like voicing those characters again. But if they actually do it, I don't think it will. I think it will be earned. I don't think it will be like a cash grab or something.
Yeah.
Because seriously, if they wanted to do a cash grab, they could have easily done so many sequels, so many things after Shrek Forever After. But they didn't. They didn't. So that means they care what they do.
Yes.
Also, off the topic, I just want to say the new DreamWorks intro. I think like it's amazing.
Oh, it's absolutely incredible. I wish they would put more, like kind of older DreamWorks stuff on it, like Madagascar.
Yeah, I mean, like they only put like Shrek, How to Train Your Dragon, Kung Fu Panda, Trolls, and Bad Guys.
Yes.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Like they should put like they should definitely put like like well, okay, maybe not ants, but like maybe Madagascar, like you said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or the
Over the
penguin.
Hedge. It was big in the day.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Also, did you know that the turtle in Over the Hedge was voiced by the guy who played the senator in Iron Man 2?
Oh, Gary Shandling.
Yeah.
Nice.
You didn't notice?
It makes sense now.
Yeah, because when I first watched Over the Hedge, I didn't notice, but when I saw Iron Man 2, I was like, that voice ring a bell. Like that voice is very familiar to me. And then when I watched Over the Hedge again, I was like, oh, so that's the guy who played the senator voicing. I was like, wow, that's really good. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, like I said, we cannot talk too much about Puss in Boots because because of the first movie, and because I don't want to spoil it for you.
Yeah.
But I'm really hoping that you're gonna like it because again, it's not a blockbuster masterpiece, but like it's a super fun time.
Yes.
Overall, for me personally, it didn't disappoint. Also, before we finish, I just want to say that for me personally, in The Last Wish, also one of the strongest points was like Puss in Boots. I mentioned before briefly a little bit before is the relationship between him and Kitty Softballs. I think like, especially when I saw the first movie, I think like this relationship became more and more powerful between them.
Yeah. I definitely agree.
Also, do you think she didn't actually show up at the church, or do you think she did?
I think she's lying.
You think she did?
Yes.
I mean, at first I was like, really? She didn't show up at all? Because like she gave a good reason why. I could never compete with his true love, which is basically himself. So like, okay, that makes sense. But then later on, as I watch it with other like different times, I'm like, I don't know, like maybe she's lying, just like you said. Maybe she's lying. Like there's so many shifty things. Also, one of the things that I love about The Last Wish, they have no problem killing people.
Yes.
Remember the unicorn thing? The
Yeah,
unicorn
the
horns?
baker's dozen.
Yeah, exactly. Like first and foremost the posies, and then of course, the horns. Like first of the posies were eating them alive. And the horns, they exploded. I'm like, wow. Like
Yeah,
they
it was
have
brutal.
it was brutal, but also very creative. The unicorn horns part
Yes.
was very creative. Also, what I love the way how when Jiminy Cricket was like being basically his psychiatrist to Jack Horner, I love like, you're not gonna show this little dog, are you? Yeah, in the face. Why? Okay, but I will say I give credit to Jiminy Cricket trying to turn him. Also, I will say this: what did you think of Jack Horner's design in general?
It was really creative.
Yeah, because a lot of people I've seen commenting like that he either looks creepy or that he looks ridiculous. But for me personally, just like you, I think they've been very creative with him. But the overall, I will say this: the overall voiceover in the movie was great.
Absolutely.
Everyone did like flawlessly their jobs.
Yes.
I will agree on that. So before we finish, because I think that we talked everything.
Yeah.
I will say this. How this? What more spin-offs of the Shrek do you think have a chance to have a spin-off? And if they do, which ones would you prefer to see?
Honestly, I think that everybody wants a Donkey spinoff. There's no doubt about it.
Honestly, I would say this. I love the Donkey. Even Eddie Murphy said that that Donkey needs his own spin-off.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like, I always, actually, I don't know if you remember this fairy tale, but there was a fairy tale that involves a donkey, a dog, a cat, and a rooster. Like they were like, they're like, in the woods together, and they're like scaring off these bandits in a cottage, and they basically took over.
Yes.
I always, are you familiar with that fairy tale?
I am not.
Where basically, I always had a theory that maybe Donkey was part of that, like fairy tale.
Yes.
So if they do a Donkey spin-off, I would love to see their take on the other animal characters, like the way how they would create them. Because I could definitely see them being like some kind of a rock band or something. Just saying.
Yeah.
But besides Donkey, I would love to see like a spin-off about Pinocchio, Gingerbread Man, the Three Pigs, and the Big Bad Wolf, like together. I would love to see that as well.
Oh, that'd be amazing. Yeah.
I mean, I could even see it work as like a fairy tale sitcom. Just saying.
That would be pretty funny.
Yeah, but overall, I want to ask your opinion. Do you think Shrek 5 could happen?
I think it's a possibility. Maybe even they kind of they put all those elements into Puss in Boots 3.
Yeah, I mean, like the Puss in Boots 2.
No, Puss in Boots 3.
Oh, you mean if they do a third movie?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, I can definitely see. I mean, if you have Shrek and Donkey, I mean, like you could basically do a Shrek 5 with like basically if you put like Puss in Boots, the third movie together, basically.
Yes.
But if they do, and I think also it will happen, I would love to see like what they will do with the new animation style.
Yeah, absolutely.
They did. I would love to see that take. And yeah, I mean, like with all being said, like we're done. I think we're done. Okay, so thank you everyone who joined us with this new great amazing The Shadow Council episode. And it looks like we came to the very end to this amazing, crazy, wacky fairy tale episode that we did. So, like always, you know the drill. Comment, subscribe, like. Yeah, I mean, the basic YouTube stuff. Like always, join us for the next upcoming episode. And until then, Lord of Shadows, like always, signing off.
Peyton, signing off. Go watch some cartoons, kids.
Exactly. Cartoons are not just for kids. As Guillermo del Toro said, it's a medium. It could be for everybody. Seriously. Just take an example to Legend of Vox Machina and Harley Quinn, and you'll see what I mean. See you guys next time.